All right, I had to come inside because my phone was overheating sitting in the sun. But listen, y'all stressing me out, some of y'all. We got to talk about this. There's not too many things that triggers me nowadays. But this right here, we got to talk about this. It's pissed me off. All right, we got to change some of us, we got to change our way of thinking, all right, let me get to the point, because you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm trying to focus, though, because I'm stressed. All right, somebody said to me recently that they was talking about CMOS and Dr. Sebi, and they said that because Dr. Sebi said something wrong once, they can't believe nothing he's saying regarding CMOS or nothing else. He said something that didn't make no sense, and everything else he said in their eyes is totally disqualified. We got to do better. That is completely insane. That is completely, I can't even find the right word right now. So listen, that's just a lot of hate. That's a lot. That's a lot of different things. I'm really trying to search for the right word, but check it. If you're a human being, you have said something wrong at some point in your life. So if that's your way of thinking, and I'm talking to a lot of people right now, because a lot of people have this same thing. They excuse me, you got me choking. We find ways to discredit people. I'm choking again, because you're stressing me out. We keep finding ways to discredit people because we don't want to listen or we don't want to hear things or whatever the case is. Let me tell you something. Dr. Sebi is a human being like the rest of us. He has said things that, yo, what are you doing, woman? Man, get what you need. Look, yo, she's a clown. We're not going to address that. We're going to ignore that.
Sorry.
Yo, why are you on your knees? What are you doing?
I didn't want to disturb your footage.
Yo, I'm trying to be serious. I'm pissed off.
I'm sorry.
All right, but seriously, he's a human like everybody else. We've all made mistakes before. We've all said things that was wrong, inaccurate. We might change our opinion this day and think differently and take other information. Listen, if you're going to say, because he said something wrong at one point or inaccurate, everything else this man said disqualifies, no. We're not going to do that. If that's the case, your kids can never listen to anything you ever tell them. Your spouse, your friends, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, everybody. You've said things that were wrong at some point. I have said things that were wrong. We all will say and have said things that was wrong. That doesn't disqualify everything else you say. Your teacher in school told you something wrong. Your president told you something wrong. Your doctor has told you something that was not accurate. You don't disqualify everybody else's information. So why are you trying to disqualify him? He has said things that I didn't agree with. He has said things that I realized wasn't accurate. So what? That just means you're wrong on that, but you're right on this. Just because you're... Why do we do that? Can somebody... I'm dead serious. If you think that way, I want you to put in the comment section what's your reasoning behind that thought process. If you don't understand it like me, please tell me something. I want to know. Because it seriously, it boggles my mind. So let me say this why this is also very, very irritating to me. Because this person comments on my video about CMOS, and they're saying because Dr. Sebi said something that was inaccurate about something else. Now, they can't listen to anything about CMOS. They don't believe in CMOS. That's just stupid. I'm sorry. So that also means, let's take him out of the picture for a second. That means that all the millions of people that's been using CMOS for hundreds of years, they're not accurate. Everything that they're saying is a lie. Everything that, people, we really got to think about what we be saying. Now, this is some of the stuff that I talk about when people say things in my comment section. I don't delete it. I respond to them, and I respond to them respectfully. But these are the type of things where, let's look at me as a business person. I'm trying to sell, I sell CMOS, right? So if somebody's in the comments talking about, oh, CMOS ain't real and it don't do this, most people would just delete that because you're like, yo, you trying to ruin my business. You trying to taint people's minds. But no, I don't do that. And one of the reasons is because all of these things are conversation. All of these things are teachable moments. If I just delete stuff, then it goes away. You don't get a chance to discuss these things. And also people that do notice it, they say, oh, he deleted that. Why didn't he want that? And then they start thinking, oh, he's trying to hide something. Oh, it must be real. They must have said something that was true. No. Here's the thing, again. First of all, that way of thinking is just insane. But if that's the case, like I said, all the millions of people who's been using CMOS for hundreds of years, they're inaccurate. All the people in the Caribbean that's been using CMOS forever, they don't know what they're talking about. The people in Ireland during the potato famine, they don't know what they're talking about. My wife, who was the reason why I started this company, because when I introduced her to CMOS, it drastically changed her mental health. It drastically changed her life. So that's not accurate. CMOS doesn't work. So the benefits that I keep posting that customers are saying that they receive, none of that's true. Because this man said something about something else that was inaccurate. The point is, I want you guys to understand, when you hear people say things like that, you have to do a little bit of critical thinking. Because a lot of times people read those types of comments, people hear people say those things like that in person, and then they go with it in their mind because they don't know any better. And they don't even stop to think, they don't stop to question, they don't stop to inquire about why they say this. What are you talking about? Please elaborate. Let's have this discussion. People don't do that. And this is the problem that we face nowadays, where somebody can say something, and because you might not know any better, or you might not just even just bother to engage, you just let it go. But there's going to be a lot of people that hear that. They have no information about CMOS or whatever the current conversation is. And somebody says something negative, and because they don't know anything, they just assume this person knows what they're talking about, and they run with it. And then they take that information or that mindset and they carry it on. They think it, they move that way. They say this, they might repeat the same thing to somebody else like they know something, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And now you're infecting all these other people's thought process, all these other people, you're influencing all these other people to think something that is either wrong or inaccurate. And if nobody is checking it, if we're not having these conversations, those things go unchecked, and this is how problems happen down the line. Misinformation gets put out there. That mindset continues. And if you have that type of mindset where you're that negative and you're that dismissive over things, then you're doing that in other areas of your life. And that's destructive. We can get into that, but I'm not going to get into that now. But if you have that type of mindset, you're carrying that type of energy and that mindset to your friends, your families, your kids, all of that. It's destructive. It's negative. It doesn't even make any sense. And it's damn sure not helpful. So more than this black seed, more than this CMOS conversation, I want you to think about this in terms of all through life. That mindset. Be very, very careful of that. If you have that type of mindset, be very mindful of that. Work on switching that up and changing that. If you're around people who have that mindset, don't let them keep saying that. Don't let them keep doing those things. Check it. Have conversations. Shut it down. Definitely, above all things, be able to recognize those things and just think for yourself. I just want us to all be a little bit better mentally. I want our energy to be better. I want us to deal with each other better. We have to start checking these things. Some of us have issues and flaws that we need to fix. All of us have issues and flaws we need to check. We have to start working on those things. We have to start addressing these things. We have to start having these conversations. Again, not even again, because I didn't really get into it. I'm going to do another video on this because I don't think I've ever really broken this down like all the way. But the reason why I started Radar Plus Nutrition is because my wife has been dealing with mental health issues since I known her. So for 17 years that we've been together, I've been helping, trying to do all these different things. That's a big part of why my channel is the way it is. There's a lot of stuff that you guys, you know and you don't know that we've been dealing with. But CMOS was the one thing, when I introduced that to her, it literally changed her life. It literally made her better. Through, the pharmaceutical meds only made her worse. All the doctor visits, all the hospital visits, all the issues, all the problems. CMOS made a drastic difference. When I saw how much it made a difference, I not only, obviously, as you guys know how I operate, I'm using it, I give it to her, I give it to my friends and family. Everybody had benefits. But when I saw the drastic change in her mental health, I had to bring this to people. I said, okay, I learned about this through Dr. Sebi, like a lot of people did. I saw the real world benefits on how this stuff really does help people. And I'm like, I have to bring this to my audience. I talk about everything else. I bring everything else to my audience. I have to, this has made the biggest impact in our lives. So you damn right I'm gonna be triggered when I hear somebody saying something crazy like that. Like, oh, CMOS is BS, I can't listen to that. You need to do a little bit more research. I'm gonna stop rambling because I'll be here all day. But again, I want us to just think a little bit more. I want us to try to be a little bit better every day and start checking the negativity, the nonsense. I want us to all be better. Hit me in the comment section, just whatever feedback. Let's talk about all this. But that's it. Thanks for listening, people. Salute.